What is up? What is up, CSGs? I am F Tank 58. I'm going to be y'all substitute teacher tonight for space. Um, damn, man, what a game, bro. I'm not going to lie. Watching the Rockets choke away a game to the Embiidless 76ers was really painful to watch. I'm not, coming off of the Eric Gordon masterclass that we saw versus the Pacers, then to come down and just really just I mean, the game was going so good to the point where we were up 10 and then everything just kind of fell off from there. It was a disappointing loss. I mean, plenty of blame to go around. I mean, where do you even want to start? I mean, first thing, obviously, to me, the Rockets lost the game at the point where Shangun fouled out. You know what I mean? Like, why is it that you have a player that's your best offensive player at the other end of the basket, and a player that needs to be fouled is able to get from one end of the court to another, passing up worse players en route to that to get to your player that has 5 fouls that you need to be in the game? Because to me, that's what leads into what a lot of people are going to be angry about, which is the Jacques Landale substitution. Now, that's on email with Doka, right? That's on email, but we wouldn't be in that position if Shangun didn't foul out, if Jalen Green didn't foul, who I don't forgot who had the ball at that point. If Tate didn't foul him, like, bro, we have to have a better IQ than what we displayed on that. Like, imagine if like any team, what I mean, I just said this earlier. Imagine if like the Warriors, 30 seconds left in the game, Steph got 5 fouls, right? Steph got 5 fouls. They're down 2 or 3. They need to foul to stop the clock, and whoever this other a team is, they're the player with the ball comes down the court, gets by Gary Payton II, doesn't foul him. Remember, Steph got 5 fouls. Gets by Draymond, doesn't foul him. Gets by Wiggins, doesn't foul him. And to stop the basket, Steph Curry has to be the one to foul, and he's fouled out. At that point, the game's over. So, that was collectively just a collective meltdown by the team on that. Even preceding that, Fred VanVleet's shot selection down the stretch was terrible. Um, Coach Adoka, I mean, the execution late. I mean, let's talk about the play, right? So this is what everybody's talking about, the Jalen Green play. One, I think the play design was bad. I mean, you draw up a play to get Jalen Green to screen into a corner where he can be trapped against the sidelines, right? He can be trapped against the out of bounds line, which is bad spacing. And to his right in the corner is Jayshawn Tate. So you're gonna load up both corners with Holiday and Tate for what? You know what I mean? Defense is not respecting that. They're not doing anything on that. Usually, if you're gonna set a screen kind of at that slot area, that wing area, you want to run it into an empty corner. So you give your guard the opportunity to come off that screen and get a shot or attack and hit the kick out. But you're going to run a screen into that corner with Jayshawn Tate there. Then Londale's in the game. For some reason, he rolls. And then when he rolls, he's not prepared to make the kick out pass. He's not prepared to make the short roll pass. Um, just dumb low IQ basketball by by the Rockets coaches, the players. It was just bad, man. That was really disappointing to see. From like, that was the best play they could draw up on a possession like that. Like, honestly, when you're in a timeout, you have to be prepared for whatever. You know what I mean? The Sixers were trapping us the whole game. So of course you're gonna expect a trap. And Jalen made the right play, but as a coach, as a team, why put Jock Landale in that position to even make the decision to win the game? Y'all know when I do the breakdowns for teams, I think I did one a couple games ago where I was talking about what we want. I forgot who it was. Was it for? I think it was for Trae Young, and I said that we should trap Trae Young because I want to see if Clint Capella can make that short roll pass 15 times a game, because that is really hard for a big man to do and make the right decision on the move. Remember, big men in basketball are the kids that don't know how to dribble very well. They're just really tall and can dunk, and they're bigger than everybody. So for them to be running with the ball, especially in high leverage moments, more often than not, they're not going to make the right play. So my thing was that I said in that game, I was like, trap Trey. Let's see if Clint Capella can make that pass, because that's a hard pass to make. The reason I'm pointing that out is because then you think about what I'm saying now in the context of Jacques Landale. When you trap the ball handler for the Rockets and Jacques Landale is the corner, the center in the short roll, you're in trouble. You are in a world of trouble at that point, because you're asking a guy that is terrible at basketball, to say the least, but has been on the bench, doesn't play, is not a great passer, can barely catch the ball, to make the decision. Because Ime has to know as a coach that, because a good coach thinks a few steps ahead. So he assumes that there's a possibility that the Sixers might just trap. So if they're going to trap your ball handler, why is Landale the one setting that screen? Because by your own alignment, with Tate in the corner next to Jalen on his right, Holiday in the opposite corner, and Fred VanVleet in the wing on the opposite side, by your play design, you have then dictated that if Jalen doesn't get a shot, the pass should go to Jacques Landale. And to me, that's unforgivable, man. You could have put anybody else in there. Jeff, Tate. You could have ran some guard on guard action with Fred and Jalen. There was a play, I forgot what the name of the play is. I'm blanking right now, that the Rockets used to run with Kevin Porter and Jalen Green, where they would do a little guard on guard screen, and then one of them would slip the screen to kind of cause a mismatch to try to generate threes. But to drag in Jacques Landale into that action with Tate adjacent to that is just bad. It's bad, man. It's bad basketball. It's bad. I think Ime Udoka was outcoached in this game. I think he was stubborn. You got to imagine Tyrese Maxey had, dude had 42, bro. 42 points in the game. In the game where he's the only person that really could hurt us. And we let him hurt us, bro. Like, this is the game where you do everything to make Marcus Morris destroy you, right? I want Marcus Morris to have 30 points. I need Paul Reed to have 20 points. I need Kelly Oubre to go for a career. Like, this is the game where you do it. The one guy you say, don't hurt us, is Tyrese Maxey, and Ime Udoka stood on that sidelines and watch him drop 42 on Tate's neck. And honestly, we didn't have a lot of guys that could guard him. For me personally, and I've been saying this for a couple of games, I would have put Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet on him. We have this thing that we like to put big wings on small guards. It is not working. We've been getting killed, and not only just because of the fact that a lot of these smaller guards are quick, so they're able to defeat our wings and get around them, get to the basket, draw fouls, cause chaos. That's not even just it. They get our wings in foul trouble. Another thing. My main issue with having Dylan Brooks and Tate and Tari be the point of attack defenders on the Maxies, the Trae Youngs of the world, the Dames of the world, is because that by default puts Jalen Green as a help defender, as a weak side helper, which is just dumb. Like, Jalen cannot play that role because, one, he's small, and you have Fred playing that role as well. So what the help defenders usually do are going to be the guys that are going to be helping on the big man rolling. How many times have we seen big man walk to the basket once we get into pick and roll action? We get into a pick and roll. Şengün is going to step up to try to guard the ball handler, to allow the defender that's guarding the ball handler to come around the screen. By the time he does that, the big man is already parallel with him. Usually the help defender is supposed to come and tag that big man by impeding his process to the basket, to then help Şengün get back in position to stop him from walking into a layup. But what do we see? Dunk, dunk, dunk. Like dudes are just walking back there. And then even when our guys like Jalen and them do come down and do a half-ass tag, the rotation out to the corners when they do pass it out is late. It's lazy. Put Dylan back there, bro. Dylan is big enough to stop a big and run out with some effort and try to get a good contest. Put Tari back there. Put Jabari back there. Let Jalen be the point of attack defender on these smaller, shifty guards because he's fast enough. And not just sit there and watch Tyrese Maxey drop 42, bro. This was a totally winnable game by the Rockets. I mean, there's so many things that I mean, they did a lot of good things well, but the defense was atrocious. And it was just simply they couldn't stop Maxey. Like that's really what it all came down to. Really what it all came down to. I mean, 42 points, man. 4 assists. He didn't even have to pass the rock. Just cooking. And we sat there and watched it. I mean, Nick Nurse really outcoached Ime Udoka. Went into a zone against our terrible shooting backups, which is the reason that 10-point lead evaporated. And they had to get Şengün in the game. Y'all remember when Londale was out there? And I don't know what the lineup was, but we had a 10-point lead. Nick Nurse looked around and saw Tate. He saw Aaron Holiday. He saw Tari. He saw whoever the hell else was, Amen, whoever was out there. I don't even know if it was Amen, but whoever was out there, he saw that and said, you know what? Yeah, we're going to go zone. And what do we have to do right away? Bring Şengün in. Got back into the game, right? Going back and forth. And then you just don't make any adjustments, man. So, just a tough loss. That was a tough loss, bro, because now we got Detroit on Monday, bro. If we lose to Detroit, man, I might not get on here for a week or two, man, because we can't lose to Detroit. No matter what happens, the Rockets cannot lose to Detroit. Because if we're the team that helps break the Pistons, because I think if they don't, I think they play Milwaukee. I don't know who they playing. Oh, Toronto. They playing Toronto tomorrow, right? So if Toronto beats them, they will be 29 losses in a row, and will be coming into Houston with a chance to go for 30 in a row, which I think would break some record, like the most in American sports history for any sport, baseball, football, basketball. If we lose to Detroit and the way we're playing right now, bro, our defense is atrocious, man. And obviously it hurts losing Jabari Smith Jr. It hurts losing I mean, Dylan Brooks, two of your better perimeter defenders. They provide length, rebounding, shot making from both of them in different ways. Dylan in the post, Jabari in his post ups, Jabari stretching the floor. So obviously if those two played, we would have beat the Sixers. But I mean, come on, bro. The Sixers didn't have Embiid. Embiid is literally like their sun and their moon. You know, Maxey is a great player, but he should not be carrying this team to blowing out the number 4 defense, not blowing out, but putting up damn near 130 on the number 1 defense in the NBA. That is uncalled for, bro. And real Ime Udoka just needs to be he needs to be better at what he does. The rotations have been trash, man. I don't know what he sees, but somebody got to tell him, man. Like the spacing on some of the bench units is just horrible. The spacing is horrible. Like we can't play these lineups. Like you just hold your breath and pray that we just make it through the bench lineups before the starters come back in. No wonder Fred got to play 40 minutes a night. No wonder we got Al Şengün playing whole quarters at a time. Damn near the whole half in some of these games. Like we got to be better, man. I don't want to see any more Holiday and Van Vliet lineups. Like that stuff is not working. Tate and Aaron Holiday be pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, role players should not hurt the team as much as these guys do. What I mean by that, if you're a role player, your role player should not be getting technical fouls, Jae'Sean Tate. Your role player should not be getting flagrant fouls, Jae'Sean Tate. Your role player should not be fouling people to lose games, Jae'Sean Tate. Your role player should not be hurting you. Your role player shouldn't be taking shots away from your better offensive players, Aaron Holiday. Your role player should not be ball hogging, Aaron Holiday. Your role player should not be making dumb turnovers, throwing the ball out of bounds and just making bad plays, being ball stoppers. They are not good enough to be doing all these things that they're doing. They are not good enough. Like we don't like to me that I don't know what Ime if he wants to hold guys accountable, hold them dudes accountable. Like I don't know what his like hold them accountable, bro. Like yeah, Aaron Holiday hit shots, but so what? That's his job, bro. Like you the on any other team, this dude would be like the 12th man, bro. We have him playing as a sixth man on the Rockets, and even in that, like he's playing like you just play your role. I value guys that just do their job. And right now, one of the issues I think that the Rockets actually have is that they don't have a hierarchy on the team. Like it's like everybody just does what they want. We don't have a system in place. I don't think they've actually maximized Şengün's post up gravity to the fullest yet. Like we get okay, teams are doubling them. Why y'all just standing there watching them? You know what I mean? Like run some off ball screens to intentionally generate open threes, not just the kickouts that kick, pass out. Like set a flare screen and run an action to cut off. You know what I mean? Do some slip screens off ball and get guys open. Like get creative, Ime. Like come on, bro. Like we see the defense, but dude, you have a generational talent at the center position, and we're just spamming pick and rolls. It's really lazy at this point. It's really lazy. It's lazy and it's just like it's just bad, bro. Like this was just a terrible game across the board. Um, I mean, but on the positive, let me not before I open it up for people to come up. On the positive note, Jalen Green had a very good game. I know some people thought he should have shot the ball. I think in real time, what it looked like was when he came around the screen with I think it was like 9 seconds left. In real time, he probably thought he would have the time to be able to size up his defender, get into a shot, whatever, try to draw a foul, whatever he wants to do. But the Sixers trapped him, and it was kind of a slight delay on the trap. And once the trap came, the only outlet he had was Londale. So I mean, what else was he gonna do if he had just heaved it up? It would have just been a dumb shot. I mean, the only shot I think he could have taken, and Ime talked about this briefly, is when he came off the initial screen and just he could have just shot it then and just took a shot. But I mean, with the time and clock, maybe he could have shot it. I don't know. I'm okay with him trying to see if he could tie the game up. You know what I mean? In the closing minutes. To me, the alignment of the team was horrible. The personnel on the court was horrible. The play calling was horrible. And all of that led to that. But even we could back up before that, the 2 minutes, they just kind of hurt themselves multiple times. Like you just can't play like that. Like they just have to do better, bro. Like they really do have to do better. The offense is just really lacks a lot of creativity, leaves a lot to be desired. If you have players that have certain abilities, you got to maximize them. Like the pick and rolls is two in a vacuum, and Alperen Şengün's scoring is so hard right now because we're not leveraging it like to punish teams. Like we're not putting teams in pick your poisons. It's either he's going to get a tough like fade away or have to bully or go through 3 guys in the post, and he's amazing at doing that. But there's a much easier and efficient way that we could run this offense. I don't know if it's a personnel issue or just a coaching philosophy, but we're not going to win a lot of games trying to go back and forth with teams with dynamic wing scorers playing that way because we don't have that guy. We don't have that guy. Like games like this, you need a guy that you can run 2-man with that is going to put pressure on the defense. And at this point, it's just die by the 3, live by the 3 for us late in games. And I don't like it. And the only one guy we do have, you let him foul out, right? You let him foul out. You worst players watch him run down and foul out. Why wasn't Cam Whitmore playing in this game? Right? Perfect game for Cam to get some burn. No center, no rim protection. You have one guy on the roster that is competent at driving to the rim right now, and that's Cam. Why isn't he playing? Why no Amen Thompson second half minutes? He played pretty good. Maybe you give him a shot guarding Tyrese Maxey. He's a big 6'7" guard. Nothing there. You know what I mean? I just don't get it, bro. I don't get it. You know what I mean? I know this is just one game in the in the macro of everything, but I feel like 3 or 4 games this season, really bad decisions and rotations really hurt us. And especially games where our players are playing really good. But Yeah, man, that just a horrible loss. I'm not gonna lie. This one really bothered me for some reason. Let me put the thing in the chat. I'm gonna let y'all come up early. Said my piece. I need y'all to come up. Give me a second. Let me post. I'm gonna post a link in the chat. Y'all come up and chop it up. Okay, give me a second. Let me post it. Oops. All right, man. Y'all boys come up, man. I need somebody to vent with tonight, man. I'm a little aggravated right now with the team. Let me get my boys up here. What up, EF? What up, ring leader?
What up, man?
What up?
What's good, bro, man? Who want to go first, man? I'm kind. I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of mad, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Let me
This was a
let me eat with you, man. You know what I mean? First off, I just want to say, watching on the weekend like usual, got beat by our old friends like usual. Fred VanVleet wasn't passing; he was doing too much. Now look,
Go ahead,
down
Drake.
the
All right.
down the stretch, dog. It's first of all, Jalen had a good game. Yeah, he had a good game. That to me is the culmination of my biggest concern because he had a great game. And I seen a point in the fourth quarter where Fred and Ime was talking. And after that, Jalen didn't touch the ball until under a minute left. And I'm wondering, was Fred, because I seen Fred trying to tell Ime something, and Ime was like, something else. And I'm wondering in my mind, was Ime saying, hey, no, just keep running you and Shangoon, keep running you and Shangoon, because Jalen didn't get looks after that. And the shot that Fred VanVleet ended up taking before the inbound to Jalen Green, where Fred had to inbound the ball to Jalen Green, was the shot where I was in my phone, I'm screaming, get a ball to Jalen, get a ball to Jalen. He needs to touch the ball. This is the point where you need Jalen to touch the ball. He's cooking. You need to show that you got trust in him. Give him the opportunity to make a big play down the stretch. Okay. This is you're supposed to be a young stud, pause, and you need to go ahead and put the onus on him to try to make that play down the stretch. I know it's a win or lose, so don't give him it's like one of those things where in football, you know, you got the third down play, and then if you don't score, if you don't make the third down, you're gonna go for it on fourth. You know, so why don't you just throw the ball to the same person two times? Don't or hand it off two times to your running back. Don't throw the ball deep and then say, okay, now I'm gonna give it to the running back to try to run 5 yards. No, go ahead and let Jalen take that shot. Fred VanVleet heaved it up with 5 or 6 seconds on the clock. And to me, that was a boneheaded play by Fred. I don't know if it was the call that Ime said we're not going to give Jalen the ball or what, but that was, to me, that was my swing play of the game. Like up until that point, we had a chance to win. But when I was down the stretch, like 3 minutes left, and I keep saying, get Jalen the ball, get Jalen the ball, get Jalen the ball, get Jalen the ball, and they never do. Now I'm saying, okay, we're finna lose this game. And then obviously you see Jake Landale come in the game, and everybody in Houston went, oh shit.
Yeah, that was the human white flag, bro. I seen that. I was like, damn, this. I was shocked that he was the one checking in, bro. I didn't understand what the purpose was. Ime said in the post game that it was for screening. To me, that was the dumbest answer I ever heard. I ain't gonna lie. We had Stephen Silas here, but that was a Silas. This is the first press conference. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That Ime Udoka sounded like Stephen Silas after a game. Like
Right.
I've never questioned anything this man has done in Houston, but the rotations thing and his infatuation with these terrible players.
But you know what, Frank? I also think I thought this too. And this might just be my conspiracy theory side, but I think this is one of those things where it's like, you know what? let me show Stone what he giving me to work with.
I said that. I thought that for a second. Like, but damn, to throw games, bro. Like,
I mean, at a point, you're not throwing it. You hanging your guys out the dry, like we saying. We got Fred doing everything he can do. We got Aaron Holiday out there playing, huge minutes. Jeff Green, 176 years old. Jalen finally have a good game. Şengün balling out of control, looking like an all-star. And when we need a win, we got Amin Thompson, who's young. We got, we still got Jae'Sean Tate, who's a suspect 3-point shooter, who's very, very, very streaky. And then, we got Jake Londale, who is just a big goose egg. So, it's like one of those things, because I'm saying to myself, listen, what's his name? Dwayne Samuels?
which one?
Samuels with the dreads. Come off the bench.
For us?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Samuels in the G League. Yeah.
He back in the G League?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So,
Jermaine.
because for me, I'm saying in that position where you need a bucket down the stretch, you got to run pick and roll and dive. Obviously, he's a better player than Jake Landale. Probably not a better 3-point shooter. Landale got a decent 3-point shot, but Samuel would have been a better player in that position. So, I mean, to me, it just looked like one of those things where it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna throw Landale out there, because he could have threw Jeff Green back in. And you think Jeff Green would have made that 2-foot jump, 2-foot hook shot?
Jeff might have been smart and actually popped out for a 3 and gave Jalen a real outlet on a game where you down 3. Like,
swung it to Aaron Holiday in the corner,
or hit that throw pass. Yeah, I mean, it was just, oh my God, like
rose up and put it on somebody's head right there, Paul.
I'm shocked. I'm even shocked bro even caught the pass, because usually he fumbled those. And then he just kind of it was Maxey that was under the basket, bro.
Put it on. You supposed to lay it. You supposed to lay the ball right on top.
Every time I think about it, I get angrier. All right, man. Let me.
But I mean, that's basically me, man. I mean, I'm Ryan Holiday. Again, I know Ghost not here, but Ryan Holiday was doing a good job tonight, man. He said some good stuff down the stretch about trusting the players, about the screen and roll, about Jalen Green need to which I agree with. I agree with him on this. I know, and I understand what you're saying about the shot really not being there, but it's one of those things where that's where you want
you got
to be that dog.
Yeah, that's you. Yeah,
you got to just be that dog. You
got to do it. Live and die by it. But
you know what I mean? Like
he's not there mentally. I don't think Jalen is anyways. I don't think to get to that level of swagger, you got to be somebody that's been putting in work. And I think he was just happy to be where he was in this game, and he stacked together 2 good games. So
I mean, like, do you think Jalen is a better shooter than Ja?
No, I'm not even gonna lie. I think they're about the same shooting. But Ja's a way better shot maker.
Yeah, exactly.
Way better shot maker. But just flat out just shooting, I think they're relatively the same.
This is the last thing I want to say about Jalen and about his shot. If you notice his shot today, on a lot of his shots, he didn't have as much of a hitch. He wasn't okay. So when I'm looking at his shot, he catches the ball somewhere in the center and he brings it over a little bit and he kind of shot puts it up. And that's where it looks like he has the hitch, because he doesn't rise up and shoot at the top of his shot like most people do. He pulls it over and then he kind of flicks it from the middle, right? But on a lot of his shots today, he wasn't catching it all the way in the middle. And so when he was catching it, he was like catching it and shooting almost like a Kevin Martin type shot. What I would like to see Jalen do is this. Whenever he shoots like that, he ends up either fading back, and it makes the hitch look bigger. But tonight, on the 3 he made, that was just the crazy 3, the one he made, he did. I was in my shit and I'm watching and I'm saying, man, he needs to lean forward on his shots. And I don't know if for people who play basketball, if y'all ever heard your coach say this, put a 1 in the chat. You lean forward when you shoot the 3. You lean forward when you shoot the 3. You don't post to fade away when you shoot. So, this is old school basketball I'm talking about. So a lot of people might not know this, but when you shoot, you're supposed to lean forward with your shot. And so when I seen him leaning forward with that three, I knew it was going down. And I would like to see him lean forward more when he shoot.
Yeah, I mean, he played 2 good games for him. I'm proud of him. I hope he can keep this up when the full team comes back. Fred VanVleet played 42 minutes. My God. Let me see. Appreciate you, bro, and just stick around. Yeah, ringleader was good, bro. I think you was second in the chat, man. What you got on your mind, dog?
Man, I'm feeling like you, man. I'm feeling like you. This like that's like a heartbreaker loss right there, man. Cause it was like we had that game, man. It just man, boneheaded mistakes, man. You got Jason Tate out there getting more minutes, man. And ain't like and out there picking up crazy fouls, man. It's just like keep going on and on. He steady picking up boneheaded fouls, man. He getting cooked out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand what our coach seeing this man besides the fact that he be hustling, but man, that ain't working, man. It's like we need to reevaluate a lot of things as on that team, man, with the positioning, because the rotation it off, and it's just like he ain't playing who I. It's like I don't know what it is. Like you said, it got to be some type of I don't know, man, because I don't see why Cam Whitmore ain't getting. He played him the other game, and then he played him against in Indy, the Pacers, but didn't play him today. And it's like you played him when Jabbar was playing, but now we missing two key players. You don't even play them. And it's like you rather. I don't know what it is, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy with this team, man. And for some reason, I really think, bro, if we lose to Detroit, bro, I think I'm gonna be devastated, bro. It's just like
Oh my God.
that's gonna make me feel I'll be so angry on losses like today. But if we lose that game, bro, I think
It's
I'm gonna
not.
be like, man, like come on, like I'm gonna start. We're gonna have to go down. We're gonna have to go to Toyota Center and start protesting, man. Like for real, we're gonna have to go,
Bro.
man, because this is starting to be ridiculous, man. We can't keep letting the coach. I don't know if it's the coach or it's the front office, but it's like it's like it's like they ain't picking the right they ain't making the right choices for our team, man. And it's starting to really like affect us as a fans, bro, because we ain't won in over 20 some years, man. It's starting to feel like we going down a slump, man. It's like with this whole team situation. I just hope we make it to the play in, and if we don't, bro, it's gonna be a failure, bro. And we got a hard schedule, man. I'm talking about hard schedule. And this one of them games I felt we were gonna lose if Embiid was playing, but then when I seen Embiid went playing, I'm like, oh, we got this game. Oh, we got this. And now I'm looking at the schedule coming ahead. If we lose to Detroit, man, we might as well, like you said, you might as well not even come on YouTube live for about a week or two, because I feel like we lose Detroit, we back looking like a mediocre team, man. We back looking like that, man. And that's all I gotta say, man. I just hope we win Monday against Detroit. If not, I'm probably gonna be
Ma-
devastated, man.
Appreciate you, dog. Let's just hope. Let's just hope that we actually beat Detroit, because, like you said, bro, it gets really nasty after that. We got after Detroit, Nets, Timberwolves, Bucks, Heat, Bulls, Detroit again, Celtics, Sixers, probably gonna be back, Knicks, Jazz, Celtics, Blazers, Hornets. It kind of lighten up a little bit, but I mean, if injuries pile up, man, we could find ourselves in a nasty situation, bro. But I kind of knew, like, the one thing that this team could suffer from is injuries. You know what I mean? If the team was injured, it would, because we were such a bad, not, the roster it was good and bad. It was put together just right enough for them to be as successful as they were, but it was bad enough that if one player went down, the whole ship would have sank. And they got to find a ways to kind of keep afloat until guys come back. But honestly, if Fred VanVleet ever go out, man, we done for, bro. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. As much as we gonna, we talk about Fred, that man go down, bro. It's curtains. For whatever season hopes we have, we might as well sweep him away because he does a lot for our team, even though he be crashing out at the end of games. Let me see. What up, Sigga Migs? What you thought about the game, dog?
Yo, what's up, Frank? I was actually at the game, which is pretty cool.
Oh, okay. So you got to feel the CTE in the air. How was that?
Yeah, it was a pretty good game, except for until the end, where like they started making boneheaded plays after boneheaded plays. But yeah, I was really glad to be back because I think last time I went to a game, it was when Jeremy Lin was on the team. So it's been a while.
Oh man, that's crazy. You ain't been to a game since Jeremy Lin was on the team?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, so what did you think, man? What did it look like out there?
Yeah, it was pretty good, like atmosphere. I'm really glad Jalen got like 30 points, which I feel like he needed. Şengün played amazing. Fred VanVleet always steady. Like when he was like I think he had a pretty good shooting night tonight. So I really thought they had him, except man, Tyrese Maxey, he's just such a killer. Like seeing him live was just amazing. Like that dude is he just killed us. But yeah, that last play, I feel like it was kind of a dagger when was it Marcus Morris hit that 4-point play, right?
Yeah, that was Marcus Morris. Who fouled him? Was that Fred, right? Yeah, that was. I think Fred is the one that fouled him. Oh my God, that hurt my heart, bro.
Yeah,
I just knew them shots. Anytime teams like any of those shots, I just know they're going in for us. I don't know why we have the worst luck. Half court heaves, buzzer beaters. It's like I always assume, damn, that shot went in, and I feel like they always do.
Yeah, the Rockets get a lot of bad luck, especially like wasn't before that it was Pat Bev that was getting like offensive rebound after offensive rebound to give him a chance.
Yes, bro. Hit a corner three.
Yeah,
and
Pat
man,
Bev also
that corner three hit was a dagger. That was a backbreaker because we took I think we just hit a three, then he came back and hit that to go up 2. And I was like, we have to score. We have to score. If we don't score, this game is over. That's what I just thought in. Not only did we not score, we ended up, I think either some point in that we ended up fouling afterwards and giving them like the worst possible shot. Ah, man. But yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah, and like, man, seeing Tate, man, I like them, but man, this game is just so many like frustrating fouls. I'm just like, what is this dude doing? Like, oh my gosh, just man, I wish, him and Landale. I agree with other guys where I was really confused. Like, why is he in the game? Like, this is like the final clutch minutes. Why is Landale in the game?
Man, was there like what was the chatter in the arena when people saw like those last couple of plays? Was it like nervousness or what?
Actually, there was a Sixers fan behind us, so he was pretty happy. But yeah, everyone was just like, "Oh, what is he doing here?" Like, yeah, and then I don't know. I feel like Jalen should have found a way to hit a 3-pointer because I don't know why he passed it to Landale when they needed 3 points when he was like in the paint and like most he could get was like 2 points. I don't know. That was also really confusing.
I think Landale could have passed it himself, but once again, why is he in the game? I guess that's the question. Is like, it's like if I was needing a 3 and let's say I'm Mike D'Antoni and I put Clint Capella in the game as one of my 5-out spacers, you feel me? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, it should have been like Jeff Green or something, or,
somebody, or just go 5-out, bro, and just damn a screen. Like, I mean, but once again, that does kind of speak to Jalen's limitations, where you see that you can't just say, "Hey, go get the bucket," because he's gonna need a screen. But honestly, I've like I said, I've seen Silas. Well, actually, no. With the Silas thing, Kevin Porter would usually get those shots, so never mind, because they would run the guard on guard thing and just let him go cook. Yeah, I don't know, man. We need a closer bad, bro. Like Fred is too short, too small to be. To me, I don't. You know, what I mean, he's just not the type of guy you want closing out. And then Şengün in foul trouble, and now teams are damn near triple teaming. So you got to have somebody you could trust to kick it out to, and not only be able to just hit open 3, but actually put it on the court and do something with it if it came to it. And I just don't trust none of our guys to do that right now. It's just it's a big problem. And I think that late game situations is really always going to be an issue for us.
Yeah, exactly. I hope. I don't know when the trade deadline is, but I hope Stone was lying about staying pat and get some.
No, he ain't gonna stay pat, bro. If they lose to Detroit, bro, I guarantee you they making a move. Like like within the next few weeks.
What I'm hoping is I hope the Raptors lose to Detroit. So if we lose, then it wouldn't be as embarrassing.
That's hope. That's what we all hope for, bro. Because that game is gonna be like a finals game, bro.
Yeah, this game, I feel like it's gonna be like if Detroit is still on a losing streak and the Rockets are up next, I'm like, this is like the biggest trap game ever. Like, because they almost beat Boston. And I'm like, man,
the whole country is gonna be watching, bro, because people have been watching them, trying to see whether they're gonna lose or break the record. I know everybody. If y'all didn't watch that Celtics game, that was like the best game of the year with Detroit and Boston.
It was
that atmosphere. I don't know if our guys are. I mean, I don't want Jae'Sean Tate out there guarding Cade or anybody like that. And Cade is pretty cold. You know what I mean? And we have
like they're really good, just like inexperienced and honest.
Yeah, they can play. They got some boys. Yeah. Don't let all the crap fool. Like when they play, they play. They have all the type of players that could hurt us. Whether it's Bogdanovich as a shooter, Ivy is a speed guy like Maxey. You know, he can get downhill to the bucket in a second. If you're gonna put Tate on a guy like Ivy, he cooking that. Cade is a big guard, so he can punk the Holidays and Fred VanVleet of the world. Duren is a lob threat, so that's gonna give Şengün some different issues, but usually Şengün does good against them. It's just the only thing we got is the coaching matchup. You know what I mean? Now, y'all know, if y'all on this channel, y'all know I value Nick Nurse as one of the best coaches in the NBA. So I wasn't surprised he out-coached Udoka, because Nick Nurse, we've seen him do it on the highest levels. You know what I mean? One of the guys that really mastered the Giannis defense. The way he comes out. If y'all remember that series against Milwaukee, this dude was making adjustments every quarter. Like, he'll scrap the whole game plan within a quarter and just come out with something new. So the guys like that, man, you really got to be on your P's and Q's to beat them. And now he got some toys to play with in Philly with actual players instead of that trash they had up in Toronto. So, you know what I mean? Monty Williams, man, I've seen this guy coach, man. He's not that good. But appreciate you, bro. Let me get the boy Glenn. Glenn, I don't think I ever seen you come up on the channel. What's good, man? What you thought?
Hey, what's good, Frank? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Right, man. Yeah, man. You know, I just came to kind of ask you one question to kind of pick your brain. But, like, do you think that MA and the front office are playing certain players to kind of get their trade value up, like the Jock Landales of the world, Tate, and what's his name? Holiday too. I think Holiday might be one of them too, though. Even though he's playing well, I feel like he might be one of the guys that the Rockets kind of use as a trade piece because he's outplaying his contract, you know. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of ask you that. I ain't going to be on here long. I'm going to mute my mic and let you do your thing.
Appreciate you, brother. And that's a great question. Actually, they have to be, you know what I mean, in some way, shape, or form, because it would be not prudent for them to do that. I think, especially with Landale's contract, it's non-guaranteed. So you know that if they actually want to put him together with the Victor Oladipo contract, you know what I mean, that's a sizable amount. You know, Jeff Green, Tate, and there's nothing wrong with playing them. To me, my problem is like you got to know when with the old saying, you got to know when to fold them. They should not be playing in key moments. Like, Jock Landale should never see the court in the fourth quarter unless it's a blowout. And I think people like, you can play players for their value, but NBA scouts and teams, they know what they are. Like, you can't trick them. Like, if we're casual fans and we watching the games and we see how because they watch film, way more film than we have access to. So they know all the limitations and weaknesses of all these players. People know who Tate is in the league. You know what you're going to get with him. You can't trick the NBA by trotting him out there and watching him on a nightly basis. And there is a detriment sometimes to playing. If you're going to play players, you got to play them in a light that makes them look good. Putting Jae'Sean Tate, for example, out every night for bigger players, faster players to dominate him doesn't really help his trade value. You know what I mean? It cheapens it in my estimation. A guy like Jock Landale, I think you have to play him if you do want to trade him to at least show he's playable. And I think they've been doing a good job for that. I think tonight was just kind of weird. Like, you hold your breath when Jock is playing. Like, I know all y'all do. Like, if he's on the court, you just pray, like, okay, let's make it out. If we got a lead, let's just keep it a little bit. If we down, let's not expand it out. You hold your breath. Once he get his little 3 minutes in and we ain't getting blown out, thank God, and you keep the game moving, bro. Like, that's the Landale experience in Houston right now. You just pray and just, you know what I mean? Let's make it out. Right?
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna have to get off though. I gotta get to these children.
Nah, go ahead and take in them kids, man. Appreciate it. Come back up, bro.
For sure.
Yes, sir. But nah, it's our roster is kind of bad, man, right now. Like, we have no depth. And like I said, with Fred and DB on there, it's good just enough to be as good as we were. But once you take away two key pieces, the holes are gaping. The lack of shooting is apparent. The lack of length, rebounding, defense, and just two players being gone, two starters at that. And so they just have to survive. I think the reporter said that right now it is a week or so for Dillon and Jabari to be out. I mean, y'all know how that goes. They're gonna say a week, then it'll turn to, they're ramping up, and that could be 2-3 weeks. But man, I mean, if we can't, I don't want to go like 3-4 games under 500, bro. Like, I to me, that would be a morale killer for a lot of work that the team has done early. I like that Jalen is getting his groove back. Hopefully that continues with the starters so that once they're back on, everybody can kind of fit in. I still think there's a big problem with hierarchy on the team right now.
Hey, I think it's good right now for Jalen based off of the fact that, you know, two of our key guys are missing, you know, because that's going to allow him to have to take more shots, you know, like with Dillon not being there, being one of our best 3-point shooters, you know, whoever thought that would have happened at the beginning of the year. But with Dillon not being one of our best 3-point shooters, and Jabari, you know, being our I guess our mid-range, you know, kind of consistency right there, rebounder, that's going to leave a big hole for Jalen to have to be responsible for. And this is really what's going to test him. And like I always say, I think Jalen is one of those players who have to be consistently tested in order for him to have something to live up to. So, you know, if this is an indication of what he needs to be better, then it's just saying, like somebody was saying earlier, like you know, if it was like, you know, I'm not the man no more since Fred VanVleet. I think that was on the Indiana Pacers game. They were saying, like, you know, maybe Jalen feel like since he's not the man no more and Fred is being, you know, typecast as the lead guy, then, you know, maybe that's taken away from Jalen's confidence or whatever, or his stature or whatever. So if you know, maybe having this kind of burden thrust on him back onto him is going to help prepare him back to where he's supposed to be as far as getting his energy up and just, you know, getting his motor running. What you think about that?
I think that, I mean, I think these games are good for, like you said, if anything, confidence and making him feel like because I think half of his issues is mental. Now, the other half is he actually has actual limitations in his basketball game that are causing him to be not able to take advantage of things that we think he should. Like, the dude is limited, and that's not going to change overnight. I don't care what play he may draw up. If the screen doesn't get him open and he got to break down a defender, then we in trouble. You just kind of hold your breath and hope for the best and hope he can use his speed to get around. But he doesn't have a change of pace, no in between game. If the shooting is off, then he's really kind of just out there. So I think there's some real actual things he needs to do. But what I like is take what the defense gives you and play to your strengths. And I think he's done that in these two games. Attacked, and when he gets the ball off a kick out, just like you pointed out earlier, take a nice balanced shot, right? A nice balanced shot. You can tell when his shots are going in, honestly. Just by looking at his form, I can tell when his mid-range shots are going in, or at least have a really good chance of going, or when they're going to miss. When he's doing that little scissor kick thing, he ain't gonna make it. But to me, there's still the question of can he fit within the context of a team that's trying to win with other good players. What we're seeing is a stripped down version of our team, and he's being successful. Can we insert this version of Jalen Green onto the team with Jabari Smith, who demands some form of attention as an offensive creator in his own right, to Dylan Brooks, who likes to get his touches in certain actions in his own right? Can Jalen work off? And I think that's a lot of where he struggles. I know if you give Jalen Green 50% usage, or he's either the primary or the secondary engine, that he's going to rack up stats. But a lot of his points, even though they show the graphic of I think it says we're 6-2 and he's the leading scorer, his leading scoring to me is icing on the cake. Like, that stuff doesn't move me as much because it's really a lot of times in a vacuum. It's like he's just shooting threes. I like scorers that are thinking the game, like a Şengün, because when Şengün starts cooking, teams start doubling, he's going to start kicking out. You start getting those hockey assists. That's when like when Harden, we watch James Harden do it. Scoring in itself, like KD's a scorer that he could score 50 and lose. When James scores 30 and gives you like 12 assists, it's different than to me. I'd rather a 30 and 12 game than a 60-point game from one player, because you're bending the defense, and Jalen doesn't do that yet. But when he can just be a regular starting shooting guard in the NBA, we should win a lot more games. And I just think, can he do that when he needs to do it with the full team? And we can't just be like, this is a Jalen tryout session where we just throw games or quarters in a game just to get him going this late into the season. Like, at some point, he's just going to have to fit that role. But I like what I saw tonight. I still think down the stretch, they have to be robotic about getting the ball to Alperen Şengün. I don't want Fred. I don't know what is wrong with the players on our team, bro. And I don't know what's wrong with Coach Udoka for not this is not about agendas. It's not about, who players you like. Dude, I'm a pragmatist, man. When I tell y'all, one of the reasons I love James Harden is that this man has no shame in spamming something. And that's a discipline to be able to say, I'm going to run this pick and roll and lob this ball to the center till it kill you, and you just got to adjust to it. I don't care if I have 0 points. I'm going to get 30 assists.
Smash mouth basketball.
Right. It takes us, just like you said, with the ground and pound in football, it takes a certain type of character to say, we're going to run this ball. Like, if you can't stop it, I'm not even throwing the ball today. You just got to stop us. Our team doesn't have that discipline, bro. You see, Şengün is literally, he was the game's highest plus minus. I think he was a plus 12. Over the Sixers, he had the highest plus minus in the game. Nobody on the Sixers could guard him. Why isn't Fred just clearing out and just getting this man? He should touch the ball on every single play.
Chris Paul would do it. Would have been
hell yeah.
Chris Paul would have been feeding them.
Would have cussed somebody out for even like Chris Paul would have got Holiday cut off the team by now, bro. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah, he would have been feeding that man. I'm talking about all.
Like, y'all gotta be. It's I don't know if it's an ego thing or guys like you. They gotta be robotic about that, bro. Like, make the six, just kill the six. Make Nick Nurse have a stroke. Have him like New Orleans was, like, where he don't even know what to do. He in the post game talking about, he beat us in every level. Had a scram. Like, they haven't really gotten to that point where they can feed the hot man. Like Fred, he gets this thing where he want to just shoot up shots late in games despite what's going on. I don't get, he's too old for that, man. They just got to be better, man. And I expect our vets to be better because sometimes they play like they're just young. So
I think Fred VanVleet trying to prove a point like he worth that money in the scripts instead of getting his team involved like at the scripts. Like, he come down and he'll jack up a ill-advised three and he'll brick it or something like that, or try to take the dagger shot all the time to try to prove that he the key player of the team. He worth his money.
I believe that.
But that's not the case, man. Like I said, he be missing Jabari sometimes. He'll shoot the three, Jabari be at the wing, and I be like, bro, pass the ball, bro. We understand you can knock down a three, but we need the best shot at this moment, man. We need the best shot. Like, come on, like you said, if we had Chris Paul, he would be steady. He'll make a fool out of them coaches. Like, you ain't gonna be able to stop Şengün. I'm gonna keep giving it to him until you figure it out. And that's how Chris Paul, he just like James Harden. He would have kept giving him the ball, kept on like he used to throw that lob to Clint Capella all the time. You gonna figure it out. You gonna figure it out. I'm gonna get 10, 15 assists on you. And we ain't got that type of player like you said that knows how to pick you apart and make you stress up and pull your hair out. Like, man, ain't nothing we could do about this, man. And that's the problem. Fred VanVleet, he ain't that guy. He want to be a scorer. He want to be the one that want to be the scorer on the team when it want to lead the team to wins. But sometimes he be making mistakes too. His efficiency bad, just like Jalen. He better on the court than Jalen. He got bad efficiency too, making dumb shots.
It's just bad shot selection. Bad shot selection, bro. from a vet.
Hey, now that's a point though, because that's what I was saying earlier. You know what I mean? Like down the stretch, when you know your guy's hot, you know you got a rookie that you got a young player that's hot, and you decide, hey, down the stretch it's just gonna be me and Sengun. We're gonna ice him out on his side of the floor. I don't know if that was just consciously saying, hey, if he's stretching the floor, if they got a man that's gonna cover him all day today, then we're gonna play on this side of the floor and just keep that man isolated. But like Ariel was saying, that's one of those things where, and he said Clint Capella, but I'm thinking even back before that where Chris Paul earned his chops at with him and David West. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
With him and David West, I'm gonna pick and roll, dump it right here to this free throw line, and David West gonna bust your head. 15 footers a game, and you're gonna bust your head all game long. And that's what LP and Fred VanVleet should be doing. But hey, I do want to say this though. Or you on point with that one? But I also wanted to ask Frank, hey, what you was that pocket pass Jalen made an indication of things that he's learning, or was there something that that just kind of happened on accident?
Which one?
The one it was in the fourth quarter, the one he made to Alperen Sengun. He was going, he had just came off the drive and made a layup, and then he was going back into the paint and they cut him off. He dropped the pocket pass to LP.
He been doing that, bro.
Yeah, he been doing that. They just went away for it because they've been wanting the ball, and Fred VanVleet hand most of the time because he Jalen turned the ball over a lot trying to do it too. So they kind of like stopped doing it, but other than that,
Jalen Ben had that. Yeah, that's been in his bag. That pocket pass, he been had that. That's him and Alperen Sengun. Ben had two-man chemistry for a while. The difference this year, though, is teams are guarding Sengun a little differently. He's getting a lot more gravity on when he rolls to the basket. Every time he rolls, it's about three people. But I'm getting a lot of feedback. Let me see if this is. Yeah, it's Ringleader. Go ahead and mute Ringleader when you ain't talking, bro. Let me see if I can mute him. Okay, but when he rolls, they're packing the paint, bro. They're packing the paint, and it's just a different coverage than he was when he was a rookie or a sophomore. So the pocket pass lanes is real tight. I think Jalen can get the pass. You can see a lot of times I would love to see them run a lot more two-man game together. I think that's still something there. But we still don't know what Sengun's real ceiling is this year. And what I mean by that is that without a guard that is really like that, you really will never be able to tell what Alperen Sengun is, bro. Even what we're seeing right now, it's just like shadows of what his value actually is as a big man. A big man is really hard for a big man to just be good by themselves in a vacuum. You can only, it's like they need a guard or a wing perimeter player to be able to accentuate what they do really well. And as good as Fred is in the pick and roll, when they run pick and roll with him and Fred, what the hell Fred gonna do when he gets to the basket? Not a damn thing. So what is the defense don't care about him? It's a half pick. It's a one-man pick and roll. Yeah, you feel me?
Can I troll? Because you said something, and I ain't gonna blow my own horn because obviously you blow your own horn. If you want your horn blown, you need a friend.
Pause. Go ahead.
But I'm finna troll Rockets fan a little bit because we talked about it earlier before the season started, And I was saying, hey, if we did it like this, it would allow some of our players to learn, and it would also give us a different dynamic to our team. And we had a big blow up, and we ended up going left when we could have went right. And so what I want to know is, do you think we'd be in a better position as far as Jalen learning, considering what Tyrese Maxey said about James Harden, and IP having more efficient games if we had gotten James Harden instead of Fred VanVleet?
No, the reason I say that is because regardless of what I'm saying about Fred VanVleet, this is a nitpicking and close game situation. He has been a huge net positive for the Rockets. I think that our offense would have been worlds better. But to me, establishing the identity we have now, next year, I really don't care what Fred VanVleet does, because he's here really on a 2-year contract. When we establish this type of identity where, when we're healthy, we're a good defensive team, guys are buying in on that end of the court. Naturally, the talent of our players, they're just going to be better offensive players. So I'm not really worried about the offense. There's kind of a good beauty in the way they're learning now, because it's kind of ugly. Like I said in my analogy, we're riding like with the bicycle and the training wheels. I think Fred and Dylan are the perfect type of, like, it's ugly, but y'all got to figure it out, but we going to help you out along the way type of players. Rather, I think James, like he's said himself, he's a system. And as much as James is a system, once you remove that system, what is left is nothing, right? And what I mean by that, let's say we gave James a 3-year contract. Everybody would have fit around his play style and his savantry and all that. And once you remove him, you would have to re-identify yourself as a team. Once he's gone, people got to find their roles. And I like that right now we really don't have like that guy, like besides Şengün, but he's such an easy piece to build around and put players around that. Even though Şengün could be your best player, that really doesn't mean anything of what direction you want to go as a team, because you can go so many different ways. So I just think James forces you to play a certain style that is more for him. And then it's not really, it's good on a veteran team because vets can adjust. They already know who they are. But for young guys, I want them to figure it out. I don't think Şengün would be this guy if James Harden was here.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I kind of, well, first of all, like I said, I agree. I wanted Şengün. I mean, I wanted Fred VanVleet anyway, just because I figured he was a better defender, and and more of a sturdy mind, because you see how Patrick Beverley was giving him work and he was chirping at him. Fred VanVleet face straight face. You know what I'm saying? No, not shooken at all. You know what I mean? I do think Patrick Beverley kind of rattled him and kind of forced him into trying to make that big shot at the end, because Patrick Beverley was giving him work and Fred kind of went down and jacked the ball. I think that's kind of how Beverley get you, is like he said, get you like, I'm going off on you, and then you kind of want to show I'm better than Beverley, and all the while he doing all the little shit and make you do something stupid. But nah, I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly on the Fred James thing.
Yeah, I mean, Fred, I think he's one of the biggest culprits to where we are as a team. Like, as much as we yell, and when he's not on the court, we suck, bro.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's definitely earning his money. I just think that there's probably players like Jalen on the team that he probably expected to be better. And I don't know if you're the one that pointed out, I feel like he feels he has to like justify, like, damn, bro, I don't want us to lose this game. I'm getting paid the most, so let me go get these shots. I'm not sure if he doesn't trust the guys yet. Especially, to me, it's not a coincidence that he changes his floor generalship to being like this shot chucker in the last closing minutes. To me, that's a lack of trust. Yeah, that's a lack of trust.
That's a lack of trust, or it's either just coaching. It's one of the two. Because I watch a lot of podcasts or whatever, and then you see a lot of these guys who talk about like elite scores and players like Kobe and stuff like that. Like, if I know that you might miss that shot, I'm not even gonna look your direction. And and you see that sometimes from Fred going down the stretch, like, I'm the clutch guy, I got the best, clutch rating on the team, and you didn't make a couple of boneheaded mistakes throughout the game, so I'm just not even finna look over there. I know, what I'm saying, it's like when that ugly girl in school, she like you, and she's gonna be sitting right in the front of the class, and you walk into class and you just look the other way. Hey, what's up, homeboy? You know, you shaking everybody's hand so you don't have to look at him. You know, that's kind of how he was doing Jalen tonight. You know, down the stretch. But now I think it's a lack of trust, but I also think it's you know, you the manager, you got to earn your money. You getting paid the most money. But then again, I also think it's one of them ones where the coach got to pull him aside and say, hey, you know, let's try to milk this out while Jalen having a good game. Let's try to milk it, you know. And you know, Ime is one of those pause, man. Ime is one of those Bill Belichick, you know, Greg Popovich type coaches to where if he got a problem with you, he's gonna make it known. You know what I mean? So it's like you haven't been playing good. I just sat you last game. So I'm not finna come back and restore full trust in you this game. You know, so down the, you know, yeah, you having a good game, but still down the stretch, we're gonna go to Fred. And that's kind of how, you know, that's kind of how it looked to me tonight.
Ringleader, you there, bro?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I ain't gonna lie. Oh man, that Fred, like you said, he's good to have him on the court, but I need him to start taking a lot of more mid range shots too. I like his
Yeah.
little mid range. That three jacking, like it's cool when it's going in. Guess you gotta take the good with the bad, but I like come on, man. Some of them threes you be jacking at the end. It's just like because he knew and then he came down and got a foul. Like come on, you get a minus
Yeah.
for that, bro. You get a whole minus for that. Like like you went from a B plus game to almost a C plus of just that last couple plays. Like like he it just man, I need for him to trust in his teammates, trust in Jabari, because the good thing about it, even though he can't finish at the rim too good when he do drive it, but he do suck the deep pause. He sucked the D in.
Hey.
And, hey, and he can like kick it out. And we do lack a lot of shooters for that type of offense, the kick out offense. Because
Yeah.
when they be double teaming Shangoon, bro, if we had a dead eye shooter, them people be in trouble, man. Them people are really be in trouble when they double team Shangoon when he cooking and they gotta double team him and he dishing it out to a shooter on the wing or in that corner and they just knocking it down like on some yeah we'll win a bunch of games like that, but yeah, that I blame the coach, the main two guys, the coach and Fred. Them the reasons why we lost a couple games, bro, at the end. Cause the coach he trusted Fred too much. He even though they got him here to do what he do, but he gotta develop the people that's gonna beat out in the next couple of years too, man. Fred might not be with us in the next 3 years, man. We gotta develop shooters, man. We gotta get Jabari shot better. And and one more thing, man, I'm scared of, bro. On this, and I don't know how y'all think about this, but I'm scared, man. We ain't gonna baby pay. We ain't gonna baby pay Tari Easton, man.
You don't think so?
We ain't gonna be able to pay Torrey Easton, man. Torrey Easton a dog, man. He gonna man. I ain't gonna be. I don't know, man. I like even though Jabari mechanics a little bit. I can see him more, but it's like Torrey Easton. He more maybe more older, but he can finish. He's stronger, and I trust him more driving to the rack with with the D on him like that. I trust him more finish, even though Jabbar been making his shots a little bit getting better with creating and driving to the rim. He been making his shots, but it seemed like Torrey Easton, bro, is it's on the same level as our wings, man. It's like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to pay him and Jabari, man. Cause Tari Eason like on the same level a little bit right now, man. He growing with Jabari, if not faster, bro. And I'm scared of that, bro. It's like that boy's a dog, man. I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I love Tari. I still think he got a lot of crackhead in this game that he needs to clean up. Hopefully, Ime can get that out because he be tripping sometimes. But I don't think he's gonna be like a max player or anything like that. So I mean, if the Rockets really want to, they should try to keep him. I would just think about when you think about salaries coming up. A lot of the guys we got on the roster right now are just spacey. They just there just taking up space and money, just placeholders for the young guys. A lot of our better players are on rookie salaries still, so you got to pay Şengün. Şengün's probably going to be one of your rookie max players, especially if he mess around and make an all-star team. Jalen Green playing bad could be a blessing in disguise for the Rockets, depending on how he plays next year. I know they if I was them, I'd approach him this summer, see if I could work out a team friendly deal. If not, his agent's probably going to tell him, "Now let's bet on ourselves and go into next year, and just accept the offer his little qualifying offer for this final year, and then go into the summer as a restricted free agent." So the market's gonna and how he plays gonna determine Jalen's price. I don't think he's going to be a max player though. Jabari has a long way to go. So, and his year is going to be 2 years from now. Jabari may end up being a max player because I think he's trending in the right direction. Tari Eason, they were talking about him, I think, on the Hoops Collective podcast today, or one of the podcasts, that he's a very important player. And, the Rockets definitely should look to securing him long term, because I think what Tari brings, especially on defense and rebounding as a wing, is very special. Can they pay all four of those guys? I think yes, because they're on different tiers of like how good they are. And then to me, the best case scenario is you can keep them on different tiers and still have a couple of vets. And then Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore are actually contributing on their rookie salary contracts. Then you fill out the roster with the Aaron Holidays of the world, different types of players like that. But I think Tari needs to be protected as a Rockets asset going forward. I know people want to throw him in trade deals and stuff like that. To me, that'll be idiot. Like, it'll just be bad. Unless it's something that just blows you out the water. I think Tari should be thought of as part of the core. I know some people argue more than Jalen Green. And I would not be mad at that. And if you told me I had to pick right now which player I wanted going forward, I would probably pick Tari Eason, bro. Because I know for a fact, if I'm in a playoff series, what do I want more, rebounding and defense or just shot making? I take rebounding and defense. That'll help me win a chip. You feel me? Rather than a guy that that may or may not be having a good game, and maybe being hunted on defense by the other team. So, Tari is definitely a guy that we should. He had a inefficient game today, but y'all see what he does on a night in, night out basis. Yeah. He should be starting somewhere. I mean, there's some games he's better than Dillon Brooks, but I want you guys to notice how important Dillon Brooks is in these past two games.
No, I mean, look, if you really think about it, Dillon Brooks, is almost playing a shooting guard position.
Yep.
And if you had Fred, Dillon, Tari, Jabari, and Al P, I wouldn't cry. I would be extremely happy with that team going forward. And I think that team would give us almost a bit as good a chance to win as the team that we have on the floor right now. So I wouldn't, we talk about players that they showcasing. I wouldn't be surprised if they showcasing Jalen Green and hoping that he have games like he having, so we can move him. And I know that you said 1,000 times, Frank, that, it wouldn't make sense to trade him, and I always say, nah, it don't make sense to trade him, but you got to take calls when it comes to, can we get a first round and a up and coming big, you know what I mean? If Walker Kessler or somebody better than that, but somebody like that's going to be a little bit cheaper and and a first round pick coming from Utah, and do you take that, or Mark Williams and You know, maybe a couple of first rounders for Jalen Green. Do you take that? You know, so it's you know, Naismith. Oh, you know what I mean? So Miles Turner, you know, it's things you look at and you can say, well, you know, I don't want to trade Jalen Green, but you are gonna have to reconstruct his contract or sign him coming up soon. But he, like I said, Cam Whitmore was the beginning of the year my most valuable trade asset because he don't make no money and he's as good as Jalen Green by all metrics right now. You know, to most people, now, not to me, but but as we approach the trade deadline, you know, Jalen Green coming up with a short contract, still, you know, coming out of his rookie contract and being an up and coming superstar. Because when you listen to people who don't watch the Rockets, they'll tell you that Jalen Green is going to be our franchise player still. They haven't been watching, so that'll just let you know. That'll let
That's
you know
the test of who's just like box score. Not even hell, you can't even watch the box score and even say that anymore. They just not paying attention.
Right. Well, it's like wide receivers will say, "Hey man, you got to throw the ball." You know what I mean? So I was watching. It was no Chill Gill or Shay one or two, and Gill was saying, you know, nah, Jalen Green is gonna be the guy that they need to win. And I was like, okay, so you ain't been watching the game.
Nah, you can't take none that man say, bro.
I mean, I'm not saying I would just, you know, it's not one of the things I would be looking to do with trade Jalen Green. Make a long story short, he is on the, you know, if you, like you say, if you come in with some first round draft picks and a big that I think is serviceable right now, you know, Mark Williams or Walker Kessler, Robert Williams, you know, any of those guys like that we know that's not making a lot of money, but still is going to be a big time defensive player, and you give me first round draft picks and you want Jalen Green, I'm going to take the call. I'm going to take the call.
Yeah, I'm not. I think like even if him playing well is just us saying that, okay, if we did want to trade him, that he's a valuable asset. I think that's, but I just don't think the return you're going to get back is worth the reward of him possibly panning out, if that makes sense. So that's my only thing. I don't think us getting like some mid first round picks or whatever that and a role player is worth him being a high level role player, even if that's what his upside is. I'd rather just keep him and just see what I got, because there's a chance that he could be better than that. So that's my approach to it.
I don't see no. I just don't see no chance. His percentage, his percentage is the worst I ever seen. Like his as a shooting guard, like he got the lowest percentage. Ain't no shooting guard came out of draft in the last, I want to say the last 5 years, like 6 years percentage that low, man. It's like, in order for that to turn around, what he can give us, like 36% from three, that still ain't no good.
If Jalen like Malik Monk, let's say he just work out that he a role, like he come off the bench, he a off the bench scorer. 2-3 years from now, he's more efficient, bigger. I mean that's still a decent play to me. The only thing that matter when it comes to players, as far as their value, is how much they want to get paid.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's all. Like, you know what I mean? If he sucked next year and he just bad and we pay him like we gave him a Tate, like maybe like he get like fit like a $15 million a year, and like in a few years, maybe two years into a 4-year, 3-year deal with a team option in the 4th year, he turned into like, damn, he kind of good. Like, I've won, bro. Like, to me, that's the only thing that matters. As long as the Rockets don't pay a guy more than what he's worth.
Yeah. No Kevin Cato deals.
Yeah, I'm cool because I've seen enough to know that at worst, he's an NBA player that could contribute something, bro.
We don't want to be saying, somebody tell Jalen Green we want our money back. We don't want to be saying that, man.
Somebody in the chat asked, will we take Emmanuel quickly for Jalen Green? No.
Nah, man. See, that's the upside. That's y'all got to still value upside. And I think EF and Ring, I think there's a lot of people who think Jalen Green is capped out as his development. I personally think the dude has a million miles to go to even at baseline, as bad as he is right now, in 3 summers, he could be a totally different player. I'm not even talking about just like he's gonna be an all-star super. I'm just talking about just a regular in basketball player. Like he has a lot more he could do with his body, with his game, his shot mechanics, handle, like so many things, his experience, all that stuff. Like to me, there's still a lot of room to grow. I start getting worried about players when they've reached like Tate, like Tate, right? Like a guy like Jae'Sean Tate, bro. He is what it is, bro. You ain't, all them little articles in the summer he been working on his shot. Y'all stop reading those, please.
Right.
Like the shot is what it like. He might start off a couple weeks into the season, but
no, Frank, because you look at players like, I'm just a couple of names like Lonzo Ball, who it took a long time for him. He went all the way through,
right.
The Pelicans, and then he got to Chicago, and then he finally rounded out his last year in the Pelicans, and then he rounded out when he got to Chicago. You look at Derek White, who they saying is a top 10 player in the league right now, and effectively a top 5 point guard in the league.
Now, Derek White been cooking, brother. I don't know if you've been paying attention. Bro was going toe-to-toe with Jamal Murray in the playoffs as a youngin on the Spurs.
Right, but I'm saying, I mean, he always been good, but he wasn't an elite
that type of guy. The defense, what he turned into, that was a later career thing. He was really an offensive player to start. This version of him is different than whatever he was before.
Now he's I mean, if you're looking at two-way point guards right now, I think he right there with Jrue Holiday if he haven't surpassed him already. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
The people making the case that he should be an all-star this year. And what's this, his 6th or 7th year?
Yeah, he been in the league a minute. I just remember that one playoff series with them in Denver.
Yeah.
Where him and Jamal Murray were going back and forth, dropping like
30 or whatever.
40 point games.
Right.
I was like,
so,
damn,
I mean, it's players that take a little while to pan out. Jalen's only in his 3rd year. So I'm by no stretch of the imagination saying, let's just do away with him because, like you said, man, if he's here for 4 or 5 years before he before it really click in for him and he become a top 10 shooting guard.
But we ain't got that long.
Yeah, we do.
We don't, because at the end of the day, we got other players that's
true, bro. Yeah, if he
some type of way, bro.
But Ring, it's really gonna be based on how he performed next year. Because to me, you have more time if he's clearly tells you what he is. If he's just bad or he's better, but he's not at that level, you just pay him what's appropriate to what he's playing like. And then if you get lucky, you might stumble onto what EF is talking about, where Jalen turns into a two-way kind of a specialist, where his thing is like defense or something else, you know what I mean, type deal. Or he's just like this Malik Monk, in which, I said Malik Monk was like, I think he was a number 11 pick, went to Charlotte, a lot of hype, never really did anything, had to reinvent himself as a player on the Lakers, then on to the to the Kings. If you can get that level where he's a guy that on a given night could drop 30 or 40, whether he's starting off the bench, it just depends on what he's getting paid. Right. What I don't want is a guy that's getting paid a max contract that's bad.
Right. So to piggyback off what you're saying, we don't have to win with Fred VanVleet on our team. Like, we looking at the fact that Fred VanVleet is taking up a lot of our money. We don't have to win with Fred VanVleet on our team. He got a 4-year contract, right?
No, it's 2 + 1.
2 plus, right? So
yeah. So next year, next year could be an expiring, bro. I think they're gonna exercise to keep him, just because he's probably already made a lot of good graces with the Rockets, or they're gonna guarantee a salary and then trade him. But I mean, he could be out the door as early as next trade deadline if they were like cutthroat like that.
And so you look at all the possibilities that make. James Harden was a shooting guard who transitioned to a point guard. We got Amen Thompson, that's an up-and-coming point guard who might make a big step next year. Fred VanVleet could easily be packaged up and traded for a Derek White or somebody who we feel like is a more, valuable point guard. It's a lot of things that makes a whole lot less than Fred VanVleet that we could get Derek White and somebody else, So it's a lot of things that they can do that, that makes sense to where we don't have to win with this team, to where Jalen Green has time to show, is he a starter or is he not? He could become a point guard. You know, a lot of us have said before that he got the quickness of a point
Who's that?
guard. Huh?
He ain't
Jalen?
got the IQ. He ain't got the IQ.
Nah. I don't see that. Yeah.
He don't got the IQ, but he's only 3 years in the league.
Nah, bro. I have a
Mhm.
philosophical belief about point guards and quarterbacks, bro.
Yeah,
Okay, let me.
You know what I mean? I think that the ability to do it at such a level is innate. And in order for you to be somebody that is not naturally like a thrower or a visioner or has that floor vision like a Chris Paul, not Maxey, like what buddy from Indiana, one of those even guys like Harden and Russ, like to me that got to be in your soul. You were born to see the game like that. In order to overcome that, you have to be a physical specimen. To use dominance and flip it to football real quick. I'm gonna say a guy like Cam Newton, that you just bigger than everybody. So Jalen is neither, bro. I can't see. I really don't see him like Amen Thompson. I think is gonna be a wonderful point guard.
Let me give you
pushback, Jalen, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Let me give you pushback.
Go ahead.
Jason Terry, Ben Gordon,
not a point guard.
Right? But Jason Terry played point guard.
Yeah, but he was.
Here goes one that matches Jalen Green's exact skill set.
Go ahead. Let me hear it.
Aaron Brooks.
Bro. You insulting Jalen Green. You calling this man Aaron Brooks, bro?
What I'm saying is Aaron Brooks was our starting point guard, and Jalen Green is a better point guard,
bro.
But Jalen Green is a better point guard than Aaron Brooks right now.
I don't know about that, bro.
Hey, but you see
not player,
huh?
I didn't say player. I just want to clarify. I'm just saying, like
Aaron Brooks couldn't make a pass.
Yeah, but I like to me the IQ part, bro. I think Jalen, that's one of his biggest. Even the play, like the last play we arguing about, like I think he just kind of like has an algorithm in his head, like. I gotta just kick it out to the bit, like you know what I mean. I think if you put a different guard in that situation, the outcomes for that last play would have been probably different.
I agree with you on that.
You feel me? Like Fred was still there on flanking them, even though it would have been a hard pass. He could have drifted a little bit. I mean, there's so many things. I don't know. Maybe attack. I don't know, but I just feel like the processing speed isn't where I want to be. To put the ball in his hands and say, run my show.
I agree.
Especially, if here's the worst part, bro, real quick. Especially when I'm giving you the keys to a Ferrari. And what I mean by that, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr., like you're going to have dogs around you that got to eat, bro. And to me, the perfect point guard the Rockets need is a guy that's not a score first. I need a guy that can set this table because you got a lot of guys can go get it. And to me, the best way they can maximize that, and I think Amen Thompson is that guy eventually, but is a player that values everybody else's skill set more than their own. And to me, because that's what we need, honestly.
And you know, just to go ahead and land, all I'm saying is that the way he's been playing this year is that he's showing development in those exact areas, and that not that it's a natural thing that he can do, but he's showing that he's learning how to play, you know, as a primary ball handler. And if Fred was to move out, if we was to trade Fred for a big, some kind of way, and Jalen has to drop down to play point guard, not this year, but let's say 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I could see Jalen learning how to play that position in that amount of time. You know, we trust KPJ for 3 years to try it.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I can't.
I see whatever his name, Vontae Murray for
the DeJounte Murray.
I see him playing point guard better than Jalen.
Yeah, he's just tall KPJ. That's all he is to me. He was taller. I think he's a little bit taller, but I mean, I don't think Jalen's like what we mean point guard. Like obviously he could be your lead ball handler in stretches. But as far as like what Fred is doing right now, I don't see Jalen being able to do that at the level you want it to be, because if you gotta understand, I think we're gonna be a contender by then, bro.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut y'all.
Yeah, what I'm talking about, like it's gonna be what? All right, man. It's game 6, bro. You at game 6 at Oklahoma City, bro. Fourth quarter, they blitz it. Like I need a guy that's going like I Shingun, let's set this screen when you roll. I got to, you know what I mean? Or let's clear out. Like I need somebody running the show, seeing the game from a cerebral. Like I need that. And I think Thompson can probably do that.
So okay. So this is my last argument. So let's say 2 years from now, Jalen is still under Ime. Ime still teaching him. The progressions we've seen him make as a ball handler and a decision maker this year has grown to the same increments by 2 years.
Okay.
Right? You got Jalen, you got Tari. I mean, you got Jalen, you got Dylan, you got Tari, you got Jabari, you got Shangun. You got a backup center because we didn't got rid of
Londale.
We didn't got rid of Londale and Fred VanVleet now. So we got a decent backup center with that 40 million. And we got other decent players coming in off the bench with that 40 million. And Jalen now has learned how to play the point guard. We can see him not take shots to give other people the ball. And he still got the ability to cook when he need to. But he only go to it when he necessarily have to. Now we got all defensive players in the middle. With just Jalen and Shangun as the scorers on the floor. That's a tough team, man.
I think that team, like you think the best analog that comes to mind is the Celtics with Udoka had, with Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They had different variations of Al Horford, Time Lord, Williams, all these guys that used to come in. But they had a lineup where they would have Smart and Derek White as the backcourt, then with Tatum, Brown, and Horford. Mm-hmm. So you think of what the lineup you just said, it'll be something similar to that. The thing is, though, this is what, and this, if you know, for people that's been on the channel for a while, what I say that Jalen needs to do in order, like you're saying, I say he needs to be either going to be a really good passer or a really good defender to really justify him being a star player or even a player that's recognized in the league for his position. The scoring is not going to get it done alone. So incrementally, I think in 2 years, based on where he's at now, if he keeps developing, he might be able to make like the corner passes. Maybe he makes the skip passes. But once again, my philosophical argument about reading the game, I don't think it's something you can train on. It's almost like I forgot what movie that is. It was like this movie is on Netflix about this girl that played chess. She can see the board and the pieces move in her mind. Like, I think people that see the game like that, they manipulate and can see moves 3-4 steps ahead. And they force the defense to do certain things so they could do something they saw in there. I don't think Jalen's ever going to get there. I think he's a player that if this read happens, I'm going to do this. If this read happens, if I see this, I see that. You know what I mean? Type player, which is fine. And I think that's still a good player. But even saying that, I want a real point guard next to him or somebody that I can trust. It's not a coincidence, bro. A lot of the teams that make it really, really far, you have to have the highest IQ players. That's a prerequisite, like to be in the finals. You got to have high IQ players at damn near every position, guys that see the game on both ends of the court. One of the biggest knocks for me for Jalen Green is up here, bro. Not really anything is up in his mind. I hope you're right, but I ain't gonna lie, I don't see it. I don't see him being like
you better train with Chris Paul.
Visionary. You said trade for Chris Paul?
I say you better train with Chris Paul if he want that type of skills.
Man, Chris Paul couldn't train that man.
No, I would see that kind of team being like a Denver Nuggets type team, like with Murray and Jokic. That's kind of what I was visioning.
Murray kind of like y'all like Murray. Murray he a dog, man. Dude been a dog. Like people act like Nikola Jokic don't defer to this man in the finals to close out games. Murray is like that.
Yeah.
And I think he's overshadowed by Jokic. But Murray is one of the best guards in the NBA, bro. When this dude healthy, he is like, I'm talking about passing, IQ, being able to read the defense, like the two-man game. And the two-man game also takes a little bit of wisdom to understand how to play off of somebody. You feel me, bro? It's not just handoff and pick and rolls. Like the cuts, knowing when to cut, how a team is playing the screens. Okay, here's what the looks they're trapped. Like, where should I position? Like, that takes a lot of cerebral stuff. And I know Jalen, to me, if Jalen can get to Jamal Murray, bro, then you cooking with something. Yeah. That's also predicated on that person doing.
And he been in the league 8 years. Murray been in the league 8 years, and for the past 3 years, you know, three or 4 years he been elite. You know, hurt a lot, but he been elite for probably 4 years. So, you know,
but you got to look at these guys when they're young, bro. Is it a matter of are they playing bad young because of inexperience, or you got to look at their games, bro? Like Murray is anytime I see a guard post up a lot, I already know they come from like a good basketball background.
Facts.
So I already know what time he's on. He was trained, bro. Devin Booker, these kids was raised in the game. They had old heads around them that's like, let's go back to the foundations of the sport. Let's teach you footwork, positioning. So they know the game. I don't think Jalen has that. No shot at him. You know, that's just how he came up. AAU era, he was a late to basketball. He's a super athlete, so lean on that a lot. So you never really had to develop the fine skills, the IQ, the film stuff, all that stuff that a lot of these other kids that aren't as great athletes had to get it out the mud do. So it's I haven't seen that level of like basketball savantry, and for me, that's what limited him in his caps, like his ceiling as a player. Is not his physical attributes, because I think he's one of the better athletes in the NBA. He has a base skill set that, to me, he can be an NBA starter. It's the fact that the game he doesn't. It's not natural for him to see it like Alperen Sengun. Sengun been playing the same way since he was 16.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, you can't teach that, bro. That's just, you can refine it. You can cultivate it, put them in situations to accentuate it, but you can't teach that type of vision on the court. You can't teach what Luka does. I can't teach what SGA does and how his post footwork and his pivot and his feel for balance when he's cooking, like his start and stop. I can't teach that, bro. Like, you can practice with that man. You can go practice with KD for the rest of your life, but you can't do what he does the way he does it, because a lot of that stuff, bro, is just God-given abilities, and they just really craft it. Jalen has God-given abilities. His speed, athleticism, he doesn't even know how to leverage that.
Yeah, no, I can dig it.
You feel me? So let's get there first. Let's get to the point where he's using what he got before we start building up on, like, okay, now I can start like doing X, Y, and Z. But I honestly think he's going to be a good player. I think people are really low on him for some reason. I mean, not so. I understand why. But if you assume Jalen Green has stopped development right now, then I think you're wrong. Not y'all. I'm just saying in general. There is a lot of room, but there is also a clock ticking. So which one runs out first? Does he get good first, or do the Rockets move on first? That's going to be an interesting thing going forward.
Lakers moved on with D'Angelo Russell fast. I think we need to do it. We need to do it too. All the people that were the Warriors,
but that was a locker room situation, I think. With
the Warrior was late getting rid of Wiseman, bro. They supposed to been got rid of Wiseman, man.
Nah, they wasn't late, bro. That, I mean, for them to trade away a second overall pick, if they weren't coming off a championship year, that would have been one of the worst moves, not only drafts, but moves in like, I mean, in the last decade or two. Like, that championship really overshadowed how bad they whiffed on that draft. And just to amplify how important it is not to miss on players at that level, because no matter what happens, bro, and this is for the Rockets or any team, decisions like that will always haunt your franchise at some point down the line.
Mm-hmm.
If you miss on a top 10, top 5 pick, you may be smiling right now because you got some. It'll always come back and bite you. Like, you cannot miss. That's like fireable. If Jalen Green is a bust, man, they need to fire Rafael Stone and whoever else on the staff, because they had this kid in here for 2 years, and stuff we doing right now is stuff he should have been doing from day one.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So if he a bust, is because of the tank. So what they say, you cut your nose off to spite your, like, is they could have done cultivating these players at the same time, losing games like every other team in the NBA does. A lot, they didn't know what they were doing. And if Jalen Green doesn't work out, we all should mourn, because that is going to haunt our franchise. Not only because the opportunity cost of drafting other players, but that void, that number 2 pick is supposed to be there for you. Sengun hitting is good, but man, you can never make up for not hitting on a number 2 overall pick, bro.
Stone would try to make up by trying to go get an all-star like he did with T-Mac and do stuff like that. That's what he'll try to make up with. Like the Rockets always do, try to go find a star in a free agency to try to cover up the bad draft.
But when it's time to win a championship, bro, like you got to hit on those, bro. That's really what it comes down to is like on the margins, bro. Like imagine if he actually reached his potential, and with the way Şengün and Tari and Jabari playing, you got a dynasty. Now we got a void at the 2 guard if he don't hit. So I understand why the Rockets, not only for political reasons, just for asset management, they have to give Jalen Green every single opportunity to be successful as a basketball player. Like you can't just move on and wash your hands. Like, especially if he isn't doing nothing detrimental to the locker room. The kid is trying. He wants to get better. He's being coached up. He's not pouting or anything. He gets benched. He takes his lumps. Yeah, just let him. Let's figure it out. And when we get to when we got to talk about money, we'll get there. But that's how you just got to look at it.
Hey, that's a good point, though, Frank. And that's where you do have to give Ime credit at, because when he sit a guy down, when they come back, whether it's been Şengün or Jabari or Jalen or whoever it's been, when he sit a guy down, when they come back the next game, they play lights out, and that shows that they want to play for this guy. They want to rise to the challenge. They want to excel wherever he disciplined them at. They want to prove that they can be better, and that's something that we didn't see in the Silas era, and that's something that we really didn't see in the James Harden era. We had a lot of veteran guys that would come in and they would do what they do, but if they had a problem, it was never we're going to be better. We're just going to go out and do what we do. And so to see that these guys, they take a sit down, they come back in and they excel each and every time. So that that's something to look forward to as long as we have Ime Udoka as our
coach. That's
coach.
culture, man. Culture. Yeah. You got to have the right, and you got to understand as a leader when you can chastise people that under you, where they take it as a challenge rather than as you being just trying to pick on them or whatever. And the culture that Silas had created, it would come off like that, right? It was like singling out players and making them feel like you're blaming them rather than a challenge. Like, so that's just showing me the leadership that Udoka has. I think of everything that he brings to a team is structure and accountability. And he might not be the best X and O's type of coach. I still think he is very underrated as far as like, I'm not saying he's a good coach. He's one of the best coaches in the league. I think he does have X and O's. Let's not cap. But he's very kind of just based on the offensive end. I know he said in his press conference that people think he's a defensive coach, but he likes to see himself as more balanced. That was a lie, bro. The man is defense, and I know he can, if he has the right tools, he can cook up a lot of good defensive game plans. But he's stubborn, and I think he just needs to be more flexible. And y'all got to understand, Ime only had 1 year as a head coach. So he still is relatively a young coach as far as career-wise, even though he's been coaching as an assistant for a while. He only had 1 year as a head coach, so he probably has to figure out what his identity is long-term. And especially when one of the years that you coach is with a veteran-laden team that was ready to win a championship, and now you're on the opposite spectrum on a team that's a bunch of young guys, and you're trying to rebuild a franchise. So that is going to come with bumps and bruises as well. So we probably got to give him a little bit of grace in understanding that he's learning how to be a coach on a young bad team and help them get out the mud. That's a whole different approach than taking the Celtics that got 2 All-NBA players on it, a defensive player of the year, to the finals. So it's a lot of things happening at the same time. But I guarantee y'all, bro, I don't want, before I'm gonna close out, but I'm gonna say this. This was on my mind. I know we gripe about these losses, but don't lose the big picture. This season, in the grand scheme of where we're going, is, I'm not gonna say it's meaningless, but it's just a stepping stone towards something greater, like with these dudes. So you don't want to like throw the baby out with the bathwater with some of these losses, or if they go on a losing streak, you got to take the wins. What I mean by the wins, I'm not talking about just the dubs and L's. We found out that we have an all-star center through this process. We found that Jabari Smith has the potential to be a two-way player, a high-level two-way player, and we don't know what else we could be from there. We're finding out about Jalen Green. Maybe him not being good is a blessing in disguise, right? What you don't want is a guy that looks good on a bad team, then you pay him a bunch of money. So you're getting answers there about him. It may end up being a blessing because you may not pay him all that money. So you're seeing all these things. You're building chemistry with these guys. You got some good vets in there that are able to, rejuvenate their career. Dylan Brooks has remade his image in the league, which is a benefit to the Rockets if we ever want to trade him. So there's a lot of good things happening with the team. We're not a joke anymore. People are talking about us in a positive light. We got a top 5. We've been a top 5 defense for most of the season. Not these past 3 games, but most of the season. So all those silver linings are there. And you look at it, your best players are 21 years old. 20, some nights is Jabari. He's 20 years old. Once in a blue moon is Jalen. A lot of the young guys are doing what they're supposed to do. You still got exciting young guys in Cam and Amen who are actually getting the typical rookie treatment. A lot of us are spoiled with watching rookies play 40 minutes a night. What you're seeing with Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore is very regular in the NBA. This is what rookies are like on good teams. They don't play. They just sit and watch, right? And then they go in the summer and get better, and their roles increase the next year. And there's a time when the team feels, okay, Cam, this guy's gone, it's year, and they're more ready. I like when rookies develop behind the scenes, so we don't see all their warts and they're not getting made fun of on Twitter about every bad game. That stuff is detrimental to them. To me, like a lot of the guys from when I was a kid then come up like that. You didn't even see the rookies until they played. So that's still cooking over there. And, the Rockets got some flexibility. Let's just see where the season goes. Pistons coming up. All that stuff I just said, throw out the window. We got to win this game, bro. I don't give a damn what they got to do. Fred got to play 48 minutes. Call up whoever you got to. Like, we cannot lose to the Pistons, bro. Not only because Steven Silas, the irony of that will be funny. You still got the battles of Jalen versus Cage. You got the Şengün versus Duren thing going on. Amen versus Ausar is thrown into the mix now. Like, bro, we cannot lose the Pistons game. If we cannot, that's all I got to say. Because if we lose the Pistons game, man, we might have to storm Toyota. So, EF, anything y'all boys want to say before we close it out?
Go ahead, ringleader.
Man, yeah, man. Good podcast, man. Yeah, man. We gotta win that game. We're gonna win. We're gonna win. We need to win
we gotta win, bro. I ain't showing my
in a blowout fashion too, man. I don't want it to be no to
game?
the wire game. I want it to be straight come out of there. And we need Jabari and Dylan back, man. We need to go and blow them people out, man. Let them know that we serious. We lost some good games, but we still there. We can't give up because that's a blowout. That's a good blowout right there. We lose that one.
Yeah, that'll be a hurt. That'll hurt the morale. Now, I heard a couple of NBA players say everybody want to give the Pistons their best shot now because they don't want to be that team. So for the Pistons, that sucks because they getting treated like the 2018 Warriors when they come to town now because nobody want to lose to them. So yeah, we can't be the ones, man. EF, anything?
Yeah, man. I wanted to say for one, hey, it's a lot of teams that got players sitting this time of year. That's just suspicious. I was just, that's just something on a totally different note. Every other team got key guys missing. I don't know what's going on with that. If it's holiday and they just letting guys rest or whatever, whatever the case may be. I agree with you on everything you said. Exactly what I was going to say about the Detroit Pistons. It's one of those games where it's a rivalry button. Two young teams, both of them was buns for the past couple of years, and you got the Jabari tripping at Wiseman in the summer league game. You can't guard me, he can't fucking guard me. That whole little thing. So it's a little rivalry button. Yeah, well, I hope we do win that. And then the last thing is, I'm kind of camping with you in your tent right there. What you were saying about Udoka. He reminded me of Coach Boone on Remember the Titans. Veer right, veer left. the right hand don't get you, the left one will. That's Ime Udoka. You know what I mean? We're gonna pick and roll, we're gonna play defense. We're gonna pick and roll, we're gonna play defense. We're gonna hold you under 107, you know, and we're gonna win. You know, if that don't work, we just lose. You know, so hopefully we see him grow as a coach. And maybe it's I wonder about things like this, and then I'm gonna land right here. I wonder about coaches, like do they call the coaches and be like, how can I be more creative offensively? Do they get with other GMs and say, hey, we need a shooter, and we're going to be looking into the draft this year. Are there any guys, like you would call Steve Kerr and be like, man, you find great shooters every year, do your scouts see anybody that they might would, tell me about, what I mean? I wonder if they do stuff like that, because, it just seems like we miss out on things, like either our scouting team is suspect because they get everything in the middle of the draft, and in the top of the draft we miss exactly what we say we're looking for. We don't get it, so I would be wondering, like, can we get tidbits like Tyrese Halliburton?
How you get a guy like that, right?
How you miss him? How
you
miss
find, or even Steph? How do they? That's a good point. I know coaches talk. They have a lot of coaching clinics. I know the Spurs used to do one where they would invite NBA and college coaches out to be with Pop for some time in the off season. I definitely know coaches steal plays from each other. They watch film. They watch film from coaches in Europe, in different leagues around the world, and try to take different wrinkles. I think I know for a fact as a Popovich lineage coach, Udoka is of that ilk where he's aware of what's going on around the NBA. I also think having a center like Alperen Sengun is probably going to drive him to be more creative by force, because if he's not, then he's not going to be able to reach the heights that they want him to reach. But I mean, it's to me, I think I know I said what I was about, but I think they've stumped, like the season rolling out the way it is. I think caught them off guard, bro. I don't think they thought Jalen would be this bad, and I don't think they thought Alperen Sengun would be this good. And now, so we just kind of playing in no man's land. So I think when they get back to the table after this offseason and actually get to sit down and, okay, let's actually have because this year doesn't seem planned. It seemed like, let's just see what happens. And now they're seeing what happens. Now you can go back to the drawing board and be more intentional about the bodies you put in on the roster. This roster was never meant to go any sort of way. It was just like, let's just be competent. Okay, we can check that box off, because I can say on a night-to-night basis, they're competent. The next step now is let's be efficient with our players and actually let's build an efficient roster that makes sense. That's Rafael Stone's test. And I think this trade deadline, this offseason is going to be his biggest test to take and fulfill on, because if he can't do that, then he should not be the GM of this team. But appreciate y'all boys, man. With that, I'm going to close it out. Happy New Year to all of y'all. I'm probably not. You guys use this as my reaction to the game. Our next game is Detroit, man. Y'all boys start praying. Do whatever you got to do. We cannot lose to Detroit, bro. Like, I may come on here and implode. I'm gonna have one of those mental breakdowns on live if we lose to Detroit. So Happy New Year to everybody, man. Appreciate y'all, man. It was a great year with y'all, developing our community. Obviously, going into the new year, we're going to try to improve upon the experience for you all. And y'all keep supporting the channel. And, man, we'll see you guys on the other side, man. Y'all be safe. Don't be out there trying to be young and out there downtown when the ball drops. Just find somewhere to be, bro. Make it to the next year, man. Appreciate y'all boys, man. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop. We're going to that fire.